Hey everyone, ready for a wild ride? Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the craziest stories in crypto history, the Bitfinex hack.
Buckle up, because this one's got it all. A mountain of stolen Bitcoin, larger-than-life personalities, and a legal battle that's still raging. We'll be piecing it all together using sources like Department of Justice press releases, a Time magazine article, and a legal analysis from Reuters.
So rewind back to 2016. Bitfinex, this big-time cryptocurrency exchange based in Hong Kong, gets hit with a massive cyber attack.
We're talking about 119,754 Bitcoins just poof, gone. Vanished from customer accounts. Back then, that was worth around $71 million.
71 million. I can't even imagine. And wait, to be clear for anyone just tuning in, we're talking about Bitcoin here, right? That digital currency, completely decentralized, no government or bank controlling it.
Exactly. Every Bitcoin is linked to this super secret password, a private key that gives you access to your funds.
Got it. So basically, someone got their hands on 119,754 of these secret passwords.
Pretty much. And here's the kicker. Those stolen Bitcoins. Today, they're worth over $12 billion.
No way. 12 billion. This wasn't just some online heist. This shook the entire crypto world, right?
Absolutely. Bitcoin's price tanked, like 20% drop. Bitfinex, one of the leading exchanges back then, had to halt trading completely. Chaos, total chaos.
I bet. People logging in, seeing their Bitcoin gone, panic setting in. What did Bitfinex do?
They tried to manage the fallout, spread the losses across all their customers, basically.
Ouch. So, like, everyone took a 36% hit on their holdings?
Yep. They also tried to make amends by issuing these things called BFX and RRT tokens.
Tokens, like some kind of crypto consolation prize.
Kinda. Think of them as IOUs, promises to pay back the lost value. But let's be real, they haven't come close to matching the stolen Bitcoin's performance.
So we've got this mountain of missing Bitcoin, a ton of unhappy customers, and then enter stage left, the alleged masterminds, Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife, Heather Morgan.
Lichtenstein, he seems like your classic hacker, but Morgan, she's something else. Entrepreneur, influencer, rapper. She calls herself Razzle Khan.
Razzle Khan. Seriously.
Oh, it gets better. She once described herself as like Genghis Khan, but with more pizzazz.
More pizzazz than Genghis Khan. Wow. I've got to see this.
Her online presence is something else. Wild outfits, awkward rap videos, trying to be a tech guru. It's almost like a caricature.
So bizarre. Makes you wonder, was this just about the money, or was there something else going on, like some crazy need for attention to shake things up?
It's a good question. But first, let's rewind a bit and see how the FBI cracked this case. It all started with a trail leading to this notorious darknet market called Alphabay.
Darknet market. Sounds shady.
Oh, it is. Think of it like an online black market where you can buy and sell all sorts of illegal stuff. Stolen data, weapons, and, you guessed it, Bitcoin.
So our hackers were trying to launder their Bitcoin through Alphabay, make it look legit.
Exactly. But you know, every transaction leaves a trace, especially in the crypto world. And as luck would have it...
Luck.
Well, for the FBI anyway. In 2017, they managed to shut down Alphabay, seized their servers, got access to a goldmine of information about its users.
And buried in that data were clues pointing to Lichtenstein and Morgan.
Bingo. That gave the FBI enough to get a search warrant for their apartment on Wall Street. January 2022, they raid the place, and what they find is straight out of a spy movie.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat now. What did they find?
We'll get into that right after the break. Welcome back. So picture this. The FBI inside this Wall Street apartment, and they're finding all this evidence, not just living the good life, but almost like they were trying to get caught.
Seriously? Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Oh, you know, the usual suspect stuff. Stacks of foreign currency, hollowed out books. They even found a bag labeled burner phones.
Burner phones. Okay, yeah, that's not exactly subtle. But did they find the Bitcoin? Like actual proof linking them to the Bitfinex hack?
They did. The real smoking gun was this encrypted spreadsheet they found hidden on Lichtenstein's computer. It had a list of over 2,000 virtual currency addresses, along with their private keys.
Hold on, back up. For those of us who aren't crypto whizzes, what's a private key again?
Okay, think of it like this. You have a safe deposit box at a bank. The private key is the key to that box. It's the only way to access whatever's stored inside, in this case, the Bitcoin.
Uh-huh, got it. So having those keys is like having direct control over the stolen Bitcoin.
Exactly. That's why the feds moved so quickly after that. February 2022, they arrested Lichtenstein and Morgan, slapped them with charges of conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Conspiracy, money laundering,
Yeah.
but not actually charged with the hack itself.
Nope. That pesky statute of limitations again. Too much time had passed since the 2016 hack. But those other charges, those stuck.
Interesting. So mountains of evidence, serious charges. Seems like an open and shut case, right?
You'd think so. But, plot twist. Both Lichtenstein and Morgan decided to play let's make a deal with the FBI.
A deal. Like, spill the beans on other criminals, what they offer.
They agreed to cooperate with the investigation. And get this, that cooperation led to the recovery of the remaining stolen Bitcoin. 94,000 Bitcoins.
94,000. How much was that worth?
At the time of the seizure, $3.6 billion, the largest seizure of assets in DOJ history.
Whoa. That's a serious win for the feds. I guess even in the crypto world, you can't hide forever. But wait, so happy ending, right? Hackers caught, Bitcoin recovered, everyone gets their money back, case closed.
Not so fast. Remember those BFX and RRT tokens Bitfinex gave out to try and compensate customers? They didn't magically transform into billions of dollars. And that brings us to the next chapter in this saga, the battle for restitution.
Restitution, right. So who gets to claim this Bitcoin fortune?
That's the million-dollar question, or should I say the billion-dollar question. You've got the Department of Justice, Bitfinex, those former customers who lost their Bitcoin, and maybe even the hackers themselves trying to get a cut. It gets complicated.
Complicated how?
Well, the DOJ's position is interesting. They're saying neither Bitfinex nor its former customers actually qualify as victims under the law.
What? How's that even possible? The customers had their Bitcoin stolen. Bitfinex, their whole system was compromised.
I know, it's confusing. Their logic goes back to that statute of limitations thing. Since they can't prosecute for the actual 2016 hack, they're focusing on what happened after, the money laundering, the conspiracy that Lichtenstein and Morgan were convicted of.
So they're saying the crime isn't the theft, but what happened to the money afterwards? That seems like a loophole.
That's what the former customers are arguing. They're saying, hey, we're the ones who were actually harmed, and those tokens they got. And not exactly a fair trade for the Bitcoin they lost.
Yeah, those tokens were supposed to be like an IOU, but it's not like they performed anywhere close to the actual Bitcoin. So these customers are stuck in this legal limbo. Victims of the hack, but maybe not entitled to the recovered funds. What about Bitfinex? They're not just going to sit back and watch all this happen, are they?
Absolutely not. They're claiming to be the sole victims since the hackers stole directly from their platform. They're talking about financial losses, damage to their reputation. It's a legal free-for-all. Everyone wants a piece of that Bitcoin pie.
So who decides who gets what?
That's where the courts come in. There's a restitution hearing scheduled for February 25th, 2025. The judge will hear all the arguments and decide how to divvy up the recovered funds.
Wow, February 2025, that's a long way off. This whole case has been such a roller coaster, from the darknet to Wall Street to the courtroom.
It really shows how complex this world of cryptocurrency is and how the law is still trying to catch up.
Yeah, even when you catch the hackers and recover the Bitcoin, it's still not a simple case closed. Okay, so we've covered the hack itself, met the interesting couple behind it, and the FBI's incredible recovery of the stolen Bitcoin. But the story doesn't end there. The big question now is, who gets to keep this massive $9 billion Bitcoin treasure?
It's a real legal showdown. The Department of Justice, Bitfinex, the original customers who lost their Bitcoin, maybe even the hackers themselves. They're all lining up, hoping to get a piece of that pie. It's a fascinating case study in how tricky things can get when you try to apply traditional laws to this new world of cryptocurrency.
It's almost like a game show gone wrong, right? Who wants to be a Bitcoin billionaire? But instead of answering trivia questions, we've got lawyers battling it out in court. And just to make things more interesting, the Department of Justice's stance on this whole thing is, well, unexpected.
Yeah, their position has raised a few eyebrows, to say the least. Remember, they're arguing that neither Bitfinex nor the former customers actually qualify as victims under the law.
I still can't wrap my head around that. Those customers lost their Bitcoin, plain and simple. In Bitfinex, their whole system was breached. How can they say nobody's a victim?
It all comes down to that statute of limitations we talked about. Because too much time has passed since the actual hack back in 2016, they can't prosecute for that specific crime. So they're focusing on what happened after. The money laundering, the conspiracy. Those are the crimes Lichtenstein and Morgan were actually convicted of.
So the DOJ is basically saying, we're not dealing with the original theft, just what happened to the money after the fact. I mean, I get the legal logic, but it doesn't seem very satisfying for those who lost their Bitcoin.
And that's exactly what those former customers are arguing. They're saying, hey, we're the ones who suffered the real harm here. Those BFX and RRT tokens Bitfinex gave out, they were basically IOUs, and they haven't come close to replacing the value of the actual Bitcoin that was stolen.
Right, those tokens were supposed to be some kind of compensation, but they haven't performed anything like the real deal. It's not really a fair trade. So now these customers are in this strange position, victims of the hack, but legally speaking, they might not be entitled to the recovered funds.
Exactly. It's a tough spot to be in. And then we have Bitfinex. They're not just sitting on the sidelines watching this all unfold. They're actually going all in, claiming they're the sole victim in this case.
So Bitfinex is basically saying, hey, they stole from us. We're the ones who took the hit. Makes sense, but how does that square with what the customers are saying? It seems like they're both right in a way.
It's a classic legal battle. Everyone's got their own perspective, their own argument, and in the end, it's up to the courts to decide who's right.
And the clock is ticking, right? That restitution hearing is scheduled for February 25th, 2025, less than 2 years away.
That hearing is going to be fascinating. It's not just about who gets the Bitcoin. It's about setting a precedent for how these kinds of cases are handled in the future. It raises all sorts of questions about cryptocurrency ownership, security, and how the legal system is evolving to keep up with this new technology.
This whole case has been such a wild ride. From the dark corners of the dark web to the glitz of Wall Street, and now to the courtroom.
It's a real reminder that the world of cryptocurrency, as exciting and revolutionary as it is, can be just as unpredictable and, frankly, messy as the traditional financial world. And sometimes, even when you catch the bad guys and recover the stolen funds, it's still not a clear-cut happy ending.
Well, we've learned a lot today, that's for sure. The Bitfinex hack, it's a cautionary tale, a reminder to be vigilant about security, a glimpse into the complex legal challenges surrounding digital assets. It's a story that's still being written, and we'll be following it closely.
Absolutely. And remember, if you want to stay updated on all things crypto and beyond, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thanks for joining us.